Hi, I'm Aaron. I am a renter here in Seattle. I moved to Seattle about 3 years ago. My family's actually from Mexico, and I grew up in Southern California, but lived back east in total for about 11 years. Never quite felt at ease back east. The culture is just so different. And knew I wanted to move back west, and an opportunity came up in Seattle, so that's why I came. When I moved to Seattle, I moved in January in the middle of winter, so that was a little bit of a shock. But I stayed at a couple of different kind of Airbnbs while I was searching for a place to live. Ended up meeting some close friends through that experience, my first Seattle friends, I call them. And ultimately saw about 20 different places on the market. And I rented for a long time back east in kind of wide range of different places. Big units, small units, studios, kind of multi-bedrooms, single-family houses, good landlords, bad landlords, some landlords who are my friends and I still kind of touch base with occasionally, landlords who just clearly did not care about the units that they maintained. So kind of a wide range of experiences, and I knew very much what I wanted when I moved to Seattle. I wanted someplace. Well, I don't own a car, have never owned a car, don't want to own a car, so obviously accessibility, access to bus routes, to easily accessible to my job and to groceries and things like that was very important. I bike a lot, so someplace I could kind of take my bike inside. But also I knew I wanted kind of a landlord who essentially lived on site. I wanted someone who lived in the property that they owned and maintained. That was very important to me because I feel like there's just a different level of ownership. When someone lives on site, they kind of see the building and maintain it just the way you would. If there's a step broken, they'll trip on it in the middle of the night just like you will. So that was very important to me, to live in a building where the owner also lived there. And eventually I found a place like that. I've been there almost 3 years now. There's been kind of some changes, and some for better, some for worse, but I'm still there. And like all renters, I think, particularly in a growing place like Seattle, I do worry about kind of rent increasing beyond my capabilities. I think that's a reality of the kind of booming city. I've lived in booming cities before on the East Coast, and that's also an issue over time that abates. I see kind of this big new building going up kind of 2 doors down, two buildings over, and my hope is that sooner or later all of this new supply is going to catch up with the demand. But I understand that there's a lag, and that takes time. I've lived in a rent-controlled building before when I was kind of just out of college on the East Coast, and I think there's good and bad that goes along with that. But ultimately, I think in a booming housing market like Seattle, anything we can do to help make the market a little bit more fair and a little bit more even. Landlords have a lot of kind of leverage and say in the current housing market. In other places, renters have more say. But anything we can do to make markets really function and help kind of balance the demand and supply forces is super important for the city and for me as a renter.